राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare। Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada। Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada। श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय, श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुब्रह्मण्य की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे। Hare Krishna. So I must be very fortunate to be getting your association. After a long time, I am coming here, Hyderabad. So you are remembering when we came, nothing like this. So Anandamaya Prabhu used to sit here. We used to take books from him, Sankirtan bus. So, so thank you very much for your wonderful association. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrutyam naro chaiva narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, So this morning we are continuing reading Srimad Bhagavatam from 4th Canto, chapter 22, which entitles Pruth Maharaj's meeting with the four Kumaras. The text number 30 for today. Indriyaire Vishaktayire Akiptam Dayatam Manaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambastayam Ivahar Radat Indriyai Vishayarkhate Akiptam Dayatam Manaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambastvayam Ivaharadat Indriyair Vishayarkhastir Akiptam Dayatan Manaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambastvayam Ivaharadat Indriyair Akiptam Dayatam Manaha Akiptam Dayatam Manaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambastvayam Ivaharadat Indriyaiva Akiptam Vadayamaha Chetanam Harate Buddhe Stambastvayam Ivaharadat. Mataएं, mothers. No mothers stand here? Okay. Indriyahi, by the senses. Vishaya, the sense objects. Akarsita, being attracted. Akiptam, agitated. Dhayatam, always thinking of. Manaha, mind. Chetanam, consciousness. Harate, becomes lost. Buddhe, of intelligence. Stambha, big straws. Toyam, water. Iba, like. Radad, from the lake. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. So when one's mind and senses are attracted to sense objects for enjoyment, the mind becomes agitated. As a result of continually thinking of sense objects, one's real consciousness almost becomes lost. Like the water in the lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass straws on its brink. So Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport, in this verse it is very nicely explained how our original consciousness becomes polluted and we gradually become almost completely forgetful of our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So please mindful here. In the translation, it is also writing Srila Prabhupada almost, not fully, right? And Srila Prabhupada also writing in his purport also almost we forget. the Supreme Lord. So in the previous verse, it is recommended that we should always keep in touch with the devotional service of the Lord, so that the blazing fire of devotional service can gradually burn into ashes, material desire, and we can become liberated from repetition of birth and death. So this is also how we can indirectly keep our staunch faith in the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the mind is allowed to think of sense gratification continuously, it becomes the cause of our material bondage. If our mind is simply filled with the sense gratification, even though we want Krishna consciousness, by continuous practice, we cannot forget the subject matter of sense gratification. If one takes up the sannyas order of life, but is not able to control the mind, he will think the object of sense gratification, namely family, society, expensive house, etc. So even though he goes into the Himalayas or the forest, his mind will continuously thinking of the object of sense gratification. In this way, gradually one's intelligence will be affected. So when the intelligence is affected, one loses his original taste of Krishna consciousness. So the example given here is very appropriate. If a big lake is covered all around by the long kusha grass, just like columns, the waters dry up. Similarly, when the big columns of the material desire increase, the clear water of the consciousness is dried up. Therefore, these columns of kusha grass should be cut or thrown away from the very beginning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed that if from the very beginning we do not take care of unwanted grass in the paddy field, the fertilizing agent or the water will be used by them, and the paddy plants will dry up. The material desire for sense enjoyment is the cause of our fall down in the material world. And thus, we suffer the threefold miseries and continuous birth, death, old age, and disease. However, if we turn our desires towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord, our desires become purified. So we cannot kill the desire. We have to purify them of different designation. If we constantly think of being a member of a particular nation, society, or a family and continuously think about them, we become very strongly entangled in the conditioned life of birth and death. But if our desires are applied to the service of the Lord, they become purified, and thus we become immediately freed from the all material contamination. Thus ends the Srila Prabhupada's purport. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakyun Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurube Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamaham Dadati Sopadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyabadi Pasyat Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Sankirtana Jasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam Pranama Dukkha Samanam Tam Namami Harim Param. Hare Krishna. So, what is the language preferred here? English or Hindi? So, So everybody is quite okay with the English? सभी लोग ठीक है English? Okay. So, so thank you very much again for giving me your wonderful association in the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan and giving this opportunity to discuss, not discuss exactly, to understanding myself what is the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, what we are going to read. So when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we should always understand, because the purpose of reading Srimad Bhagavatam is ahitu ki bhakti toi. Bhavatar bhaktir ahitu ki toi, Srimad Bhagavatam states in first canto. So from this is subject matter, whatever we are discussing in the Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever verse it may be, how that verse will enlighten us to pursue in our Krishna consciousness. Because our purpose of reading Srimad Bhagavatam is only to enhance our devotional service. That's why it is a Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Srila Prabhupada very kindly introduced it in our ISKCON. Every day we must read Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is a fundamental thing. When we are performing devotional service, so we get achievement, our desired goal, through the Srimad Bhagavatam. So here is very, this chapter what we are reading is a very, very important chapter. So this chapter itself is a Srimad Bhagavatam. Because here we see the Supreme Lord's representative as Prithu Maharaj, and also his dear devotees for Kumaraj, the discussion between themselves. No? So when they met each other, and Prithu Maharaj gave them, so you have already discussed. So now for Kumaraj and chief of them, the Sanat Kumaraj is telling this thing, that what are the difficulties comes in your practice of devotional service. Because the practice of devotional service is the only way how we can get rid of from this material world, right? So then why we cannot get rid of from this material world? Because there are so many difficulties, obstacles come in your path of devotional service when you are performing. So here one important thing Sanat Kumar is pointing here, there are sense gratification, and one's mind and senses are attracted to the sense object. In Bhagavad Gita also in second chapter we read Dayata Visaya Punsa. Starting from beginning from there, when we have some desire to get this sense enjoyment, then it begins from there. Then we go to for sense subject. So here one's mind and senses are attracted to the sense subject. Okay? And for enjoyment, and the mind becomes agitated. The next step comes. Okay? It becomes agitated. And as a result, the continual thinking of the sense subject. Always we are thinking about the senses. So when we are chanting also, in the morning we can practically think about, experience about this thing. Or when you are beginning our chanting, so then we understood that whatever the sense object we have been observed in the mind is imprinted in the mind, so that comes out. When you start chanting Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna, then it comes, no? It reflects. Then what do we do? Because this and one as a result, continual thinking of the sense subject, one's real consciousness almost become lost. It's a very important point for underlying here. Sanat Kumar is saying it almost lost, it is never lost completely. Because our consciousness by nature itself is always purified. And but due to this material enjoyment and all this garbages come to in, it become almost. That's why it's called almost. If there is no almost, then there is no chance, no hope, right? So that's why it is. It looks like almost it has been diminishes. Here saying the almost become lost, like the water in a lake that gradually sucked up the big grass in the straw in the bank. The Srila Prabhupada explains very wonderfully in his purport. Srila Prabhupada says that this is the practical. We cannot be artificial thinking that some devotee when we ask, we should be very honest in this matter. No? When you are performing particular devotional service, when you ask, Prabhu, how is the things here going on with you? Everything okay? Yes, yes, we are okay. No? But if he analyzes himself, is going everything okay? If everything is going okay, then we would not be here in this material world. We will go and transform to the spiritual world. No? If everything is not going okay, because we are not in okay place. We are in material world. We cannot, but somehow, by the transcendental arrangement of Srila Prabhupada and all the Parampara and Vaishnavas, they are making us to become comfortable and situated in this material world by chanting or taking shelter of the Holy Name, taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. They have given us the opportunity. So that's why here Srila Prabhupada explains that what are the difficulties to performing devotional service? Because this verse speaks about that. Srila Prabhupada is saying that. Many times we introspect ourselves, why this has been given the difficulties in Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. Everything. Why there is a discussion about the difficulties of Krishna consciousness? Because until we understand the difficulties in our path of devotional service, we don't try to pursue for it. If everything comes by its own way, without any difficulty, then we don't get actually really test. We don't release the test. Because when we go through the difficulties, even the material world, when somebody is getting wealth evidently from his parents or previous, so they don't take actually so much care about their wealth. But he, by his hard-earned money, if he gets, then he actually releases. When he spends some money, he used to think about it many times, So like here, as we see in the practice of devotional service, so there are so many obstacles comes in a practice of devotional service. We should not think that devotional service is very simple, but it is very simple also. It is not that it is very difficulty. It is very simple. It is not like that you have to stand like a tree and do some breathing exercise or upside down, sometimes stand. It is not like that. But it is a very simple process. But what is the difficulty is coming? The obstacles are coming difficulty. When the obstacles come in our path of devotional service, the simple thing become very difficult for us. And the foremost the obstacle is our mind. Out of all the obstacles, our mind is the primary obstacle. Other obstacle, you can, by practicing something, you can divide those obstacles. But mind is always inside because you don't see the mind, how it is working. No? That's why Krishna, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he instructed Arjuna, first you have to fix your mind on me. You control your mind. Unless someone controls his mind, it is very, very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness. That's why here Sanat Kumar is pointing out, though our goal of life is performance devotional service, but these are the obstacles is coming into our mind, through our mind. And mind is thinking always the sense object. You know? Not only sense object, and how he is getting enjoyment through the sense object. That also is thinking. Otherwise, how he will get agitated? Because he is thinking that if I get this thing, I will do this thing. He is getting all the result. Then that's why he got agitated. And he's thinking, why you practice Krishna consciousness? Here is nothing test. Outside the world, so many things are for enjoyment. Here is only chanting, doing some service. Sometimes mind agitated us. Why you are practicing Krishna consciousness? Your friends are going this way, that way, this way. So mind is sometimes, many times we see the mind distracts us from the original path of Krishna consciousness. Here very beautifully, they have, Sanat Kumar has given a wonderful example. And Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport. He also gives very nicely that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing the same matter with Rupa Goswami in Prayagraj, she was exactly discussing about this thing. When by the mercy of a spiritual master and our wonderful Vaishnavas, we come to Krishna consciousness, we practice Krishna consciousness, we get some test in chanting of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. And slowly, our mind goes to thinking about Krishna. Then when we reach with the Krishna, then think, okay, now my thing is already completed. Then we become a little complexion. Then what happened? Then we forget about Krishna. Right? We forget about coming to class, we forget about the hearing, chanting, we forget about those things. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that even if our mind go to the lotus feet of Krishna, still here the Mali, the performer of devotional service, he used to continually chanting Shravan and Kirtan, the Sinchai. He water always the plant, the creeper of devotional service. Because this creeper is so fragile. And again, another obstacle what comes? It has been sometimes, it has been attacked by so many animals. And out of all attacks, there is called elephant. Vaishnava Aparadharti Hati Matna. Like a mad elephant. If he comes, then he completely uproots and destroys the plants. So that's why we have to be very, very careful when we are performing the devotional service. Because the agitation of mind and other things, this is the root cause of this coming, this agitation of mind and the sense object. Why this is coming? Because we are performing devotional service. Because the result of devotional service, the burning, this is all the unwanted things. Chetadarpana Marjanam, as we are reading, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this process. Is there any wrong in this process? Because there is wrong, that what we are doing, the wrong things. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining that if we like mad elephant, like Vaishnava Aparadha we do in a practice of Krishna consciousness, then it becomes very difficult, our progress. So that's why the Mali, the creeper, the gardener has to be very much careful to protect proper fencing, which cannot be destroyed by the elephant. So how to do that? When we are practicing devotional service, how we make fences in our body? So we bring some bamboo and make fences. Or nowadays steel iron rod we make fencing so nobody can break. No? Again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sing the continuing chanting and hearing. These are the fences which protects from the Vaishnava Aparadha, from the offenses. Because when we regularly hearing and chanting, then we understood the importance of the Vaishnava Aparadha and importance of holy name. Then we forget about the Vaishnava Aparadha offensing to others. Because if we don't hear, then we don't understand, then we forget. Because forgetful is a natural tendency of mind. It forgets always. That's why every day reminding. Srila Prabhupada introduces Nityam Bhagavata. Every day we must hear. Must. Not like that. So we hear Bhagavad Katha like 7 days somewhere going. Then after we forget. No, every day we have to remind this. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what Srila Prabhupada is saying that every day we must hear and chanting about the Supreme Lord. Then we can protect ourselves from all the offenses of the Vaishnava. Then another again what happened? What is another offense Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explaining? First thing that we become complexion, then again we have to hearing chanting. Second thing a Vaishnava aparad, and third thing what can unwanted things come out. Like when you are planting a tree, so there are some unwanted trees also coming in here to our original tree. And they also looks like exactly like the same tree, what we planted. You become very confused sometimes for the gardener to discriminate which is a proper tree, what he was expecting to get, and what he is looking now seeing. This one is written here, explained here in this verse. Because we are practicing Krishna consciousness, nourishing the chanting and hearing chanting, everything we are doing. But what happened? These so many things, unwanted things coming, name, fame, puja, pratishtha, everything that comes. Then we think that, oh, this is the actual goal of Krishna consciousness. Right? Because so many years we are chanting, so many years we are performing devotional service. Then we make so many devotees, wonderful devotees, going preaching, giving distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books. Mangalarti, our name has been announced. Oh, this Prabhu has distributed this many books. This Prabhu has performed this wonderful service. Oh, okay, this is actually my result of devotional service now. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining that name, fame, adoration, these are main obstacle in your Krishna consciousness. Then how to avoid these obstacles? But this will come automatically, no? Like automatically you have not planted that those weeds with your seed. But they came, the weeds came. Then what the gardener does? He uproot the weeds and make the shape to the creeper what he planted. So that's why we have to uproot those weeds or unwanted things in our heart. How we can uproot it? With some machinery tools, we can uproot it. So again, same process, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying. Because the chanting of the Supreme Lord, chanting of the Hare Krishna is only and only medicine and only tools for every disease, whatever coming from in our heart. Chanting and hearing. The only things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying. Because other remedies we cannot perform. We cannot perform the austerity. We all understood that Janmashtami day, only one day fasting, it becomes so hard time for us. And if Ekadashi, we say that you fast about half day, oh, why a half day fasting, no? 9 o'clock we should prasadam. We cannot do perform our austerity in our... So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, only chanting the process to uprooting all these unwanted weeds. What is lurking in our heart? Because they are in subtle way actually always residing with heart. When they get a favorable condition, like they get water, fertilizer, everything, they immediately the weeds comes. They so like when these unwanted things, they are in actually in sleeping condition in our heart. When they get a favorable condition, they immediately grown up. So that's why here Srila Prabhupada is saying that we have to immediately cut off them. And the same thing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommending in Rupa Goswami, in teaching of Rupa Goswami. So you have to be very expert. If we are not expert, somebody may say that if I am not expert, how can I get rid of the weeds? No, we take advantage of expertise. Some person is doing his business. If he is not going well, so he taking that from the some expertise. So like that in our Krishna consciousness, same thing also. If we are not expert in our Krishna consciousness, so we take advantages of senior Vaishnavas. And Srila Prabhupada's teachings and his guidance and his lecture, so we take advantage of that. So then we become able or capable ourselves to uproot those weeds which are coming or unwanted things coming from our heart. Srila Prabhupada explained. So we have to purify them in different designations. Which those designations, Srila Prabhupada is saying that if we constantly think of being the member of a particular nation, society, family, and continuously think about them, then become very strong and entangled in the conditions. But if we take the help of Krishna consciousness, and the devotees, those who are practicing fully in Krishna consciousness, they are developed the taste in Krishna consciousness, we take their help, then this become very easy. By their help, we uproot these weeds and we become purified, and thus we become immediately free from all the contamination. And chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or question. Any question or any comments? Okay. Okay. Yeah, but since it is transcendental things given to us, though it has been given us freely to us, still we have to perform hard work also to get up for ourselves or to purify ourselves. We should not think that, oh, it has been given freely distributed by Nityananda Prabhu and all previous acharyas. So we should become by sleeping all the way, join in ashram, and come into Krishna consciousness. Oh, we don't need to chant Hare Krishna. We don't read Bhagavatam. We don't need to go Mangalarti. So if you think that, oh, because it has been given to me freely, no? So that's why I don't need to. That's why if we practice ourselves, then we get a result. And very quickly we go to spiritual world, back to God, and Srila Prabhupada says. So if we become complex, though it has been given free to us, still we will not get the benefit. We'll take another birth to come again, again, again. Some people also come into Krishna because they also think like that, because they think that in 1 year if you pass promote to another year upper class, it will become very normal, no? Because everybody pass. If I stay for 4 5 years in one class, then there is some speciality in me. Some devotee also think in that way. So they also do like that. Many years, many years they try, they say, okay, so chanting is not so big thing. So we should not be very complex in that. Though it has been given us free, so we should be very carefully safeguard ourselves. Any other question or comment? Okay, thank you very much. especially Anandamaya Prabhu, they're tolerating me for your blessings and guidance. So thank you very much, all of you, for your patience and hearing. Srimad. So if we try to take ourselves this message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially Srila Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada's purport is so practically, Prabhupada explains. At least if we try to understand at least 10%, some percent of Srila Prabhupada's purport, then our life will be uh, success, will get success in our life. So we have to be always grateful to Srila Prabhupada and his wonderful, what he has given us, this Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much. All glory Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.